Do you want to build muscle, but you're scared of eating carbs? Do you need to eat carbs to build muscle? Well, here's the thing. You need energy to build muscle. You're building. So yes, you need excess energy. You don't necessarily need to bulk up. I mean, maybe an extra 10, 15% above maintenance will be enough. But the fear of carbohydrates, because we know we've got to go low carb to lose body fat, agreed. To building muscle, it's a kind of a different story. So how does eating carbohydrates benefit building muscle? Well, for one, when we eat carbohydrates and when they're timed correctly, the big caveat there, when they are timed correctly, those carbohydrates can travel to the muscle where, because they're in the muscle, they can fuel the workout. If we're going to rely on fat for fuel, then what happens there is we have to break down the fat. It has to travel in our blood and it has to get to the working muscle. And that's kind of a longer process. The carbohydrates are already in the muscle, so they are the preferred fuel for use. Makes sense. So carbohydrates, when timed correctly, are not going to go into fat storage. They're going to travel to the muscle and be stored in the muscle for your next workout. What else do carbohydrates do? Well, carbohydrates trigger insulin. Now, we know that insulin can make us fat, like if too much insulin and for a prolonged time, yes. So we think of insulin as a bad thing, but insulin is a very powerful hormone. It interacts with every cell in our body. And it's a transporter. It's a storage facilitator. So again, when we eat carbohydrates, which are correctly timed, and we have an insulin response, not only will we push those carbohydrates in the muscle, which can then be used as fuel, but we also shunt amino acids into the muscle to repair, build, to create that adaptation that you are seeking through your training. With somebody that is training, and for hypertrophy, we're looking for tension and volume. That's what we're looking for. If you're training appropriately, if you're training to the right intensity, you're eating enough protein and you time your carbs correctly, you could optimize muscle building without getting fat. In fact, you could even get leaner. So the fear of carbohydrates, when I've got somebody that's training with a specific body composition goal in mind, are very, very helpful. But again, when timed correctly, when the carbs enter your blood and they have a purpose, then they will go and do that. When the carbs enter your blood and they don't have a purpose, that's when they go into fat storage. Muscle Month. I'm wrapping up this program. The last Zoom is on Saturday, but it will be back in the fall. It was an awesome program, if I do say so myself. But next up is the Mastering Midlife Month, which starts on, I think it's in 3 weeks, June the 11th, I believe it is. Or is it June? I think it's June the 9th. Anyway, that's coming up. It is a month-long program. And again, I only run these programs twice a year. So if you're interested, the links are in my bio. And any questions, just message me.